everyone. Myself Rakhi, Assistant Professor in the Department of Electronics and Communication Engineering at ABS Engineering College, Ghaziabad, affiliated to Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam Technical University, Lucknow. Today in the lecture series of optical communication, I am going to deliver before you topic optical detector, its introduction. The content to be covered in today's lecture are introduction, the criteria which defines the important performance and compatibility requirement for detectors, optical detection principle, performance parameter of photodiode, relationship between quantum efficiency and responsivity. So, before going through the topic in detail, just have a recap of what we have know about the detector. As already known to you, because we have gone through this in various lectures from the starting only, any communication, when we talk about the any communication, there always exists a source and the destination. And one medium that connects this source and the destination. Till now, in this series of the lecture communication lectures, we have studied about the source, we have studied about the medium. Now we are going towards the receiver section. And this detector about which we are going to start today lies on this part of the receiver section. So, when we talk about the receiver section, first you think what? Receiver section is attached with the optical fiber. Receiver section is attached with the optical fiber. And what is this type of signal which is flowing in the optical fiber? The signal which is flowing here is the optical signal. But in the receiver section, after receiver section, when this signal reaches the its destination, that should be electrical form for the further analysis. So, in the detector section, what we have to do is basically we have to take something like that which will be able to convert this optical signal into electrical one, so that it can be accessible at the receiver section, at the receiver end. So, detector is basically a instrument, a machine, or we can say a device which can convert this optical signal into the electrical one. So, first line comes here. The detector is an essential component of an optical fiber communication system and is one of the crucial element which dictate the overall system performance, since it is present at the receiver section. So, whenever we are able to receive the information, it is analyzed at the receiver section, and the receiver section itself we are able to analyze whether the system has worked properly or not. So, all the parameter related to the performance of a system can be analyzed at the receiver section. So, the detector is a very important system component which dictate the overall system performance. Its function is to convert the received optical signal into an electrical signal. So, the prime function is here that the received optical signal is converted into the electrical signal at the detector end, so that it can be further amplified and processed and received by the user. When considering the signal attenuation along the link, the system performance is determined at the detector. So, what this line indicates itself, because whenever we are analyzing the performance of any system, what we are saying, there is any system and for us this system is the optical system. For any system it is applicable that we see the power which is given to it and power which is received by. So, optical system start with a LED and laser and end with a detector, because before this we have a electrical system and after this also we have a electrical system. So, if we want to analyze our optical, we will always see what power is received at the detector end when we have inserted P in at the LED and the laser end. So, we can say, and in between lots of attenuations occurs. We have already discussed about this type of attenuation in the previous lectures. So, we can say that it is a performance determining component of a optical communication. Improvement of detector characteristic and performance thus allows the installation of few repeater station and lowers both the capital investment and the maintenance cost. So, what this line basically indicates, if at detector end the power which is received is of full strength, then in that case no repeaters is required. Repeaters are basically used for the amplification purpose. But if the strength is at weaker side, the power output which is received at the detector section has a weaker strength, then in that case we need a amplification process and a repeaters are required. And if we require repeaters, then investment and maintenance cost increases. So, we can easily see that detector plays a very important parameter also in deciding the investment in the optical system. So, these are the basic introduction about the optical detector. So, as we have already discussed in the source section also, that what criteria has to be followed for using any component, any device as a optical source. In the same case, the criteria which defines the important performance and compatibility requirement for detector. So, if we want to use any device or any component as a detector, what parameters it has to be followed are mentioned here. So, just have a reading of one by one. High sensitivity at the operating wavelength. High sensitivity means that it is able to detect even a minute signal which is received at its terminal. So, any system which can be used at the detector section should have a high sensitivity, so that it is capable of activated on receiving of slight signal and this slight signal at the operating wavelength. High fidelity, the second one, large electrical response to the received optical signal. So, the efficiency, basically here it is talking about the efficiency, because optical detector, what should it do? It basically receive the optical signal in the terms of photon and convert it into the electrical one. So, it tells that large optical response. So, what it is telling, that this should be large, and when it should be large, when the efficiency is more, because efficiency is basically calculated this as a numerator and this as a denominator. A minimum noise, already we have known that SNR, that is signal to noise ratio, is a very important parameter at every receiving end, and in that case we usually calculate the noise as per the signal received by us. So, in that ways we can say that noise has to be minimum, then only a proper signal can be received. So, noise introduced by the detector should have to be minimum. Stability or performance characteristic, it should be stable in the characteristic which is shown by it. Size should be small, low bias voltage, high reliability, and of course the low cost. Reliability and the cost are the criteria for any type of system, because we always want the system which we are using is reliable. We can trust upon that. Then comes the optical detector principle. The device is reverse bias and the electric field developed across the p-n junction sweeps mobile carrier to their respective majority side p-n n-type material. A depletion layer, region or layer is therefore created on either side of the junction. So, what is going to happen here when we take up this system, that P and N, it is a p-n junction diode. And in what condition it is? It is in the reverse bias condition. It's already known to you that in the reverse bias condition, p-type material is attached to the negative terminal and n-type material is attached to the positive terminal, and when the electric field got developed due to this biasing, it holes move towards the p-type and electrons move towards the n-type, and when this, because this is the majority carrier for this and this is the majority carrier for this one, and when this happen, a depletion region get created, a wide depletion region get created. So, in this paragraph basically it is talking about this, a photon incident in or near the depletion region. The where is photon non-incident? Because the basic working of a photodetector says that the photon which falls on the photodetector has to be converted into the electrical energy. That means photon has to be converted into electrons. So, photon which is incident on the depletion region of this device has an energy greater than or equal to the band gap energy Eg of the fabricating material. So, what is the basically this Eg, and this defines the basically on the material which are used for the fabrication of this this optical detector. This Eg, the HF, the energy of the photon has to be greater than the Eg, which is the band gap energy of the material which has to be used for the optical detector fabrication, and is basically the difference between the energy level at the valence band and the conduction band will excite, and if it is greater, then the photon energy of the photon is greater than the energy band gap energy Eg of the fabricating material, will excite an electron from the valence band into the conduction band. This process leaves an empty hole in the valence band and is known as photogeneration of the electron hole pair. So, when the sufficient amount of photon is incident on the depletion region, which is already greater than the band gap energy Eg of the material which is used for the fabricating purpose, electron from the valence band move towards the conduction band, and in this process empty hole is created in the valence band, and this is known as the photogeneration of the electron hole pair. The carrier pairs so generated near the junction are separated and swept under the influence of electric field to produce a displacement by current in the external circuit in excess of any reverse leakage current. So, the carriers pair which are generated near the junction are separated and swept under the influence of what? Under the influence of electric field is created due to the biasing, produces a displacement current which is in excess as compared to the reverse leakage current, and it flows in the external circuit and leads to the current formation on the application of the photon. The question arises, this depletion region plays a very important role, because incident photons falls on this and this leads to electron hole pair generation. This leads to electron hole pair generation, which leads to flow of current in external circuit. Which leads to flow of current in the external circuit. So, depletion region must be sufficiently thick. We have to make the depletion region sufficiently thick. That is why reverse biasing is done in this photodiode, in photodetector, to allow a large fraction of incident light to be absorbed in order to achieve the maximum carrier pair generation, because depletion region leads to the formation of electron hole pair generation. However, since long carrier drift times in the depletion region restrict the speed of, and this will restrict the, because when the depletion region is thick, more electron hole pair generation takes place, but speed of response of a system or operation of the system get reduced due to this thick width. So, always there is a, in everything there is a merit as well as demerit, because if we increase the width of the junction, electron hole pair generation takes place maximum, and of course, in that leads to maximum current in the external circuit, but it will reduce the speed of operation of the photodiode. So, we have to maintain a trade off between this two. We have to maintain the speed also, we have to maintain the generation of electron hole pair also, and this is represented here only. Now, the performance parameters of the photodiode. The first one, in all cases, the efficiency. So, when we talk about the quantum efficiency in a case of a photodiode, you can also tell that it should be the ratio between the electron generated as per the incident photon in it, because efficiency is always output by input ratio, and output in the case of a photodiode is our electron generated or collected, and input is the photons falling on it, incident photon. Thus, so let us have a definition of this. The quantum efficiency is defined as the fraction of incident photon which are absorbed by the photodetector and the generation of electron which are collected at the detector terminal. So, this is the symbol, number of electron collected upon number of incident photon, and it is written in this form, number of electron collected by the photon incident on it, and efficiency is always generally less than unity, as not all the incident photon are absorbed to create electron hole pair. We always know that if 100% efficiency is not possible, because not all the incident photons which are falling on the photodiodes get absorbed and get converted into the electron hole pair. Now, the second one is the responsivity. Expression for quantum efficiency does not involve photon energy, and therefore, parameter responsivity has to be taken into consideration for determining the performance of the photodetector. It is defined as the ratio of the current output, which is measured in, of course, ampere, to the incident optical power. So, it is basically the ratio between ratio of output current and the incident optical power. It gives the transfer characteristic of a detector, that is photocurrent per unit incident optical power. So, these two are two of the most important parameters which decide the performance of the photodetector. Now, the next one, the cutoff wavelength. Cutoff wavelength basically decides the at which frequency or at which wavelength our photodetector will operate. Any particular semiconductor can absorb photon over a limited wavelength range. The highest wavelength is known as the cutoff wavelength. So, any semiconductor material absorb photon only over a limited period of a wavelength, and the highest wavelength is known as the cutoff wavelength, which is represented as lambda c. The cutoff wavelength is determined by Hc upon Eg, where Hc is the photon energy and Eg is the band gap energy of the semiconductor material which we are using, which is Hc is already known to you. It is given by 1.24 because H is also a constant and C is also a constant. So, we can say that cutoff wavelength depends upon the band gap energy only. And I think band gap energy has discussed number of times with you. So, you are familiar with it. Again, I am drawing this energy at the valence band, energy at the conduction band, and this is our band gap energy. The photodiode's long cutoff wavelength can permit optical fiber in wide range, that is used for the fiber optic transmission. Now, just have a relationship between the quantum efficiency and the responsivity, because both of these are the important parameters for determining the performance of an optical detector. So, as we have gone through the responsivity and the quantum efficiency both, so already known that responsivity is given by this optical current and the optical power here, ratio between these two, and efficiency electron collected divided by incident photon Now, the incident photon Rp may be written as in terms of incident optical power, and it is written in this form only. Rp is equal to what? Incident photon per total power of the incident photon, total power, and this is the power associated with the single one. Now, as per the efficiency equation, this one, we can relate Re is equal to efficiency into Rp, that is shown here. And so, now Rp value we have from this, Rp is equal to P in by Hm. So, we can substitute this. So, we are getting Re is equal to efficiency into P in upon Hf. Now, Ip, if we want to write the Ip here, it can be written as in the terms of E into Re, and Re you have derived here, and P in E here and Hm. And if we want to write the responsivity, responsivity is equal to Ip upon P in. So, we have a formula of Ip here, efficiency P in electron Hf and P in. P in the numerator and denominator get cancelled. So, what we are getting? We are getting answer as efficiency E upon HF. So this is the relationship between responsivity and the efficiency, where R is our responsivity and this is our efficiency. You have to always remember this relation, because always one numerical related to this comes. So let us do one numerical related to this. A photodiode has a quantum efficiency of 65%, that is, efficiency is given as 65%, which you can write as 0.65. When photons of energy, this is the photon energy, are incident upon it, at what wavelength the photodiode operate? First one is the at what wavelength. The photon energy is given by HF, and when we write F in the terms of wavelength, we can write it in the H, because F is equal to C upon lambda, and we have to calculate the lambda, that is why we have to replace this F with C upon F. This one first of all, then lambda is equal to Hc upon E, 6.626 into 10 to the power minus 34. This is the velocity of light in the actual form. This is the incident photon. When we calculate it, we will get the photodiode operating wavelength, which is equal to 1.32 micrometer. And what is the second question? Calculate the incident optical power required to obtain a photocurrent of 2.5 microampere when the photodiode is operating as described below above. That means in this particular case, you have to calculate the incident optical power. Incident optical power, that means you have to calculate the P in, and required to obtain photocurrent of IP is given as 2.5 microampere when the photodiode is operating as given above. So when this two are given, this you have to calculate, and this is given to you. And what is given to in the upper section? Efficiency, which is equal to 0.65, and you have calculated the wavelength, operating wavelength. But the relationship which relate incident power and the photocurrent is given by the responsivity, where responsivity is equal to IP upon P in. But we do not have any value of responsivity, but we have a value of efficiency, and we have already determined one relation related to relation between responsivity and efficiency. So we can use that formula here, which is equal to here this R equal to efficiency into electron into divided by HF. So we are going to use this. So here we have used that formula. R is equal to efficiency into E by HF. Efficiency already known to you, 0.65. Electron values known to you, 0.1.6 into the power minus 19. HF already given, that is energy associated with a photon, 0.5 into the power minus 19. So we can able to receive the responsivity value as this. Now we can apply this. Now responsivity is equal to photocurrent upon the incident photon, incident power. Now we can calculate the P in by this, using this formula. P in is now equal to what? IP upon R. IP value is given 25 microampere, and responsivity value we have calculated equal to 0.694. So this is our incident optical power required. So thank you for attending today's class.